we have, obviously, Darlington Race Weekend is this weekend.
Yay.
Also, it's the beginning of the spring bike rally in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
And something that we can all relate to, because we all have moms, it's Mother's Day. When this is going kerplunk, when this episode comes out, it will be Mother's Day. So we want to wish a wholehearted Happy Mother's Day to our moms. I think we all love our moms pretty hard in this room. I'm a mama's boy.
Me too.
And Chelsea?
Yeah, my mom is
The bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah. So happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. If there are any chop shoppers who are moms, then happy Mother's Day to you. And also, Chelsea, you're a mom. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thanks.
But this is not a Hallmark podcast. Welcome to Season 9, Episode 2 of Cinema Chop Shop. This is a movie podcast that concedes that remakes are going to happen, so why shouldn't movie buffs
Like us.
decide who is recast in those iconic roles? My name is...
The Traventures of Pluto Nash,
Yes.
a.k.a. Cesar Chavez, a.k.a. 525,600 Travis.
The Adventures of Pluto Nash Bridges of Madison County. And I'm joined here in the shop by my co-host and co-producer, a guide for recognizing your Shawns, a.k.a. Sean One Great, a.k.a. Sean City, a dame to kill for. Also, in our third seat, the Chop Shop regulator, Josie and The Pussycats, a.k.a. Chelsea Walls, a.k.a. Chell walks into a bar. Thank you for being here and doing everything that you do. Was it a rough work week for you?
No.
It was a pretty rough work week for me, and I am still very enthusiastic about this episode. So, further description of the show, the tagline says, watch, chop, retrofit, because essentially that's what we do here. We watch older movies, sometimes they're classic films with iconic actors, and then we retrofit them by tweaking the design with new parts. Disclaimer, we're not actually in favor of the remake, reboot, sequel-dependent cinematic culture.
Call your mom.
This is more of an exercise in satire and irony. We try to be funny,
And sometimes we succeed.
bring us to the theme of the episode. In celebration of her 42nd birthday, the films of Rosario Dawson. Rosario Isabel Dawson was born on May 9th. That's today, if you're listening to this when it comes out, in 1979. So she's less than a year older than me. So I think I have a chance. She's an American actress, voice actress, producer, and activist. Her mother, Isabel Celeste, is of Cuban and Puerto Rican ancestry. Isabel was 16 years old when Rosario was born. She never married Rosario's biological father, Patrick Harris. When Rosario was a year old, her mother married Greg Dawson, a construction worker. She made her feature film debut in the 1995 independent drama Kids. Her subsequent film roles include He Got Game, Josie and The Pussycats, Men in Black 2, Rent, Sin City, Death Proof, Trance, and Top 5. Dawson is a self-professed Trekkie, shout out Joey, who mentioned her love of Star Trek in an interview with Conan O'Brien, and also demonstrated her knowledge of several Klingon words. Dawson briefly dated writer and actor Jason Sudeikis in 2010. Dawson was in a relationship with director Danny Boyle during the shooting of the film Trance, which he directed and she starred in 2013. Dawson adopted a 12-year-old girl in 2014. From 2016 to 2017, Dawson dated comedian and television host Eric Andre. I bet that was some crazy-ass times. And in March of 2019, Dawson confirmed that she is in a relationship with United States Senator Cory Booker. So maybe I don't have a chance. But that's what we're talking about today. What do you guys think about Rosario Dawson?
I think she's great.
Yeah, I love her.
I think that one of my favorite roles from her that we're not really going to get into today is 25th Hour, opposite Edward Norton. Do you guys know about this movie?
I haven't seen it.
All right, so it's Edward Norton, Barry Pepper, and Rosario Dawson. And somebody who's Edward Norton's dad. I can't remember. It's somebody famous, and he has been convicted of drug charges, like trafficking charges, and he knows that he's going to prison, and it's about the final like day before he has to go to prison. It's really good. She plays his girlfriend. Barry Pepper's his best friend. Check it out.
I like her. I think that she does sexy very well.
Indeed.
And I'm sure it comes very naturally to her. But she can do matronly. She can do funny. She was the best part of Clerks too.
Yeah, indeed. And that's
not saying a lot.
No, 'cause
but no,
that
she
movie
was
sucks.
actually really good.
Yes.
But she's versatile and she has a lot of range, and it feels like we've been watching her on film for a long, long time. I guess
As
because
legend has it, she got discovered as like a teen sitting on her porch in Manhattan, and somebody was like, "Hey, you want to be in a movie?" Turns out it was Kids by Harmony Korine, and that movie's fucking fucked up, but it did launch her career. Chelsea, do you have a favorite Rosario Dawson movie?
I have a new favorite as of this week.
What is it?
Trance.
Okay, right on. You watched it, the Danny Boyle movie. Now remind me, is she playing opposite McAvoy? James McAvoy? Okay, yes. There's certain parts of that movie that stand out to me in my memory. They're kind of
Oh, there's one that
Burned-
stands out to me.
burned into my brain.
Yep.
But it might be worth revisiting, like the whole movie instead of just like certain scenes. And any further thoughts on the actress?
Nope.
That brings us into our next segment, which is the Midnight Double Feature. And this is where we go around the panel and we each talk about two movies that we have pre-selected for a hypothetical double feature. And usually they're supposed to be related to the theme of the show, and also we try to talk about like how they're related to each other, this and that. Is that about right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went way off script on that one.
No.
All right, so Chelsea, would you like to go first with your double feature?
Sure. I have from 2002, The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
Oh yeah. Wait. The Adventures of Pluto Trav? Wait.
The Traventures of Pluto
Yes.
Nash.
And I'm pairing that with 2017's Unforgettable.
All right, tell me what Unforgettable is, because I cannot remember for the
Oh.
life of me.
Haha.
Yeah. It's a dumb movie. They're both dumb. And they were both covered on a Pierce podcast called How Did This Get Made?
Oh, I like them. So during the movie Unforgettable, did they do the song?
No.
Do
We
you want to?
actually
Just the
No.
hook. All right, you ready? Unforgettable.
No.
That's what you are.
No, we gotta pay royalties on that.
I only did like 5 seconds.
You can only do 3.
And we'll cut it to 3. All right, and so tell me the premise of Unforgettable.
Rosario Dawson is married to Katherine Heigl's ex, and Katherine Heigl's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Shit goes
Oh, wait,
down.
in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
But like also.
In real life?
Yeah. We went to a live taping of How Did This Get Made, and they covered Unforgettable.
Oh, wow. The song?
No, the poster's right over there.
Unforgettable. Yeah, I saw that. As soon as you said it, I was like, oh, wait, those guys?
Mhm.
Those assholes? All right, over to you, Sean. What do you got?
All right, I'm gonna do Sin City and Sin City: A Dame to Kill For.
Oh, yeah.
These are both the film adaptations of Frank Miller's graphic novels, arguably some of his better work.
Okay.
And the first one was directed by Frank Miller, Quentin Tarantino, and one other.
Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah, I think Rodriguez. Rodriguez did the screenplay, and of course Rosario Dawson plays the very beautiful Gail, and I guess lethal would be the other term. She's part of the group of girls that are super dangerous.
Yeah,
You don't
so
wanna
she's a
fuck with them.
femme fatale. One of the things about this movie that I love is the stylized presentation. It's mostly black and white, except for certain things that are supposed to be in
Yeah.
color for emphasis.
Right.
But continue.
Oh, that's fine. The second one, of course, Frank Miller did the screenplay, and it was just him and Robert Rodriguez on direction on the second one.
Okay.
And Rosario Dawson reprises her role, and yeah, like you said, it's a film noir, obviously.
Yeah.
And almost to the point where it's parody because it is so black and white. There's no in between, and they're a lot of fun. If you've never watched them, I recommend them.
I do too. I think that even if you're not, and I defer to your like comic book knowledge every time, but even if you're not a huge comic book fan or even a Frank Miller fan, these are still very accessible.
Oh, sure.
All right, so my double feature is a couple of terrible movies that I totally watched. The first one is called Light It Up from 1999, directed by Craig Bolotin. Bolotin?
Ovaltine.
Bolotin. Bolotin. It's got a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a film starring an ensemble cast. Oh, that's another connective tissue, is that there's ensemble cast. That consists of R&B singer Usher Raymond in his first leading role,
Usher.
Forrest Whitaker, Rosario Dawson, and Vanessa L. Williams. The topical story of a group of high school students who form a protest when they become fed up with the school's poor conditions. And after a shot is accidentally fired and a police officer is wounded, the resulting standoff results in a media frenzy that pits the dirt-digging media against the well-intentioned students. The next one is called King of the Jungle from 2000, the following year, directed by Seth Zevi Rosenfeld. It's Zevi, Z-V-I. It's got a 69% on Rotten Tomatoes, man.
All right.
King of the Jungle is a 2000 American drama film starring John Leguizamo, Rosie Perez, Michael Rappaport, Marissa Tomei, Rosario Dawson, Julie Carmen, Justin Pierce, and Cliff Gorman. Everybody loves Psycho Gorman. A mentally impaired New Yorker, Johnny Legs, becomes enraged and violent after the murder of his mother, played by Julie Carmen. So, that's my double feature. They're both, I believe, set in New York. They're both ensemble casts, and they're both movies that are not worth your time. What was that?
I think there's some wind outside that's blowing a branch. Like
Okay. Do you remember when we were recording and those branches fell?
Yes.
I thought it was because I said something bad.
Yeah.
All right. So, does that bring us to the end of the Midnight Double Feature?
Yes.
Yep.
Bringing us to our feature segment. Just for a moment, stop and smell the sweet, sweet theme music from Dr. Bob in his kitchen. It's the Recast! And this is where we take a pre-selected film that we have watched in advance and we hypothetically recast a few of the main roles. Quick disclaimer here that most people already know. I usually pick the roles for the recast before I watch the movie, so sometimes people get left out, and that is the case with both of these films today. We will mention the honorable mentions. But Josie and the Pussycats from 2001, directed by two people, Deborah Kaplan and Harry Elfont. It's got a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. I feel like it could be a little bit higher.
Same.
I think this is a very enjoyable movie.
I think 53 is right on target.
Whenever, like in the first 5 minutes of the film, whenever they said the word Riverdale, I was like, oh yeah, this is part of the Archie universe. And so it's based on the Archie Comics characters and also the Hanna-Barbera cartoon of the same name. And so this is the 2001 adaptation. Josie, played by Rachel Lee Cook, Melody, played by Tara Reid, and Val, played by Rosario Dawson. Can we just take a moment to think about the different trajectories those three actresses' careers took? Rachel Lee Cook is mostly doing direct-to-video stuff. Tara Reid, no one knows.
Isn't she like a sign spinner?
I think she's at a bus stop somewhere, spinning signs for Liberty Tax Service. And then, that was a plug for Liberty Tax Service. And then Val, Rosario Dawson, is clearly the most successful and the most classy of the three of them. They're a three small-town girl musician. They are three small-town girl musicians determined to take their rock band out of their garage and straight to the top, while remaining true to their look, style, and sound. They get a record deal which brings fame and fortune, but soon realize that they're pawns of two people who want to control the youth of America. They must clear their names, even if it means losing fame and fortune. The one person that we're not going to be recasting in this is Parker Posey, and it's regrettable because she's one of the best parts of the movie, and she's one of the people who wants to control the youth of America.
She's great. Also, I want to mention Missy Pyle.
Missy
is
Pyle's awesome
fantastic.
too. I had to look her up, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
My favorite part is that they're like, "Why are you here?" And she said, "I was in the comic book." And they're like, "What?" And she said, "Huh? No." Just like a throwaway line.
Was she in Galaxy Quest?
Yes.
Was she one of the alien
Yeah,
people
she was
in
the
Galaxy
alien.
Quest? Yeah, okay, I like her. Alright, so the roles that we are recasting. First, sorry, Chelsea, give me some of your thoughts as the lone woman in this room, and this is kind of a chick flick.
100%.
Thoughts?
I loved this movie when it first came out.
I saw it for the first time this week, and I
I've
also
seen it.
loved it.
I've seen it so many times.
And it's safe for work.
It is. It is. I rewatched parts of it again, and I hadn't seen it in a little while, and holds up for sure.
What's your favorite part? Because I'll tell you mine. It's the boy band du jour. It's so fucking funny. And the movie is self-aware.
Self-aware.
Oh,
It's satirical in a lot of ways. But at the same time, if you're not reading that heavily into it, it can just be a very enjoyable musical comedy to watch.
For sure.
All right, the roles that we are recasting are Josie McCoy, played by Rachel Lee Cook, who was 20 at the time. Melody Valentine, Mel, played by Tara Reid, who was 24 at the time.
I had 26.
Oh boy. Then we've got, and my math's probably wrong. Then we've got Valerie Brown, played by the woman of the hour, Rosario Dawson, who was 20. And then we've got one of the other people who wants to control the youth of America through mind control, some shit. Wyatt Frame, played by the great Alan Cumming, who was 34?
I had 36.
36. My math is...
Either I'm off by 2 or you're off by
Well,
2.
just wait till the next movie. I've got one where my math is way off. So, that being said, Chelsea, would you like to go first with your recast of Josie McCoy?
Sure. My actress was in The Witch, The Terrible New Mutants, something called Morgan. I went with Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
She's good.
She's great.
Is she in the Queen's Gambit?
Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, she's very good in that. All right, over to you, Sean. Your pick for Josie.
I went with a 21-year-old actress. She was in The Kissing Booth, The Conjuring, The Act, and Summer '03. I went with Joey King.
Joey King. I know that name.
Yeah.
For sure.
Did you watch the Hulu show about Gypsy Rose?
No. Should I?
That's the act. That's the
That's the
the
actress.
Munchausen
Is it good?
syndrome.
I liked it.
Gypsy Rose Lee, is that right?
Yeah.
My pick for Josie McCoy is 19 now. She's got TV credits. She's in Girl Meets World. She's in Snowpiercer. She's in a movie called Spy Kids, All the Time in the World, which should have been the subtitle to our second time travel movie. Maybe in the future. Her name is Rowan Blanchard. Rowan Blanchard. Give me just a moment. There she is. There's my Josie, Rowan Blanchard.
Got it.
All right, next up, we've got Melody Valentine, played by Tara Reid. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. She was somewhere in her mid-20s in this movie, and she was the ditzy blonde one of the group. And Chelsea, who was your pick for this?
I picked a Disney starlet actress. She was in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, 27 Dresses.
Mm-hmm.
She's on Cobra Kai. Her name is Peyton List.
Peyton List. That's a good pick.
Yeah, I like Peyton List.
Over to you, Sean.
I went with a 20-year-old actress. I wanted to get her back into the realm of the other Pussycats. She has face value as well, but I like this actress. I've used her before. She was in Destroyer. She was in Deadwood, the movie. She was in Little Fires Everywhere. But she got on my radar as the bad girl in The Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, I like this.
She was Dot Nancy. Her name is Jade Pettyjohn.
Yeah! Man, I still think that Adam Sandler should have gotten an Oscar for that role. And so does he. So does he. Oh, The Righteous Gemstones. I was thinking of Uncut Gems.
That stays in.
I love it. I love it. All right, next up, we've got the Woman of the Hour. It is Valerie Brown, played by Rosario Dawson, who was 20 years old. Chelsea, who was your pick for this?
My actress was in Joker, Deadpool 2, Invincible. I want Zazie Beetz.
Zazie! Is everything just coming back around again? Are you picking all people that you've chopped before?
It just works.
It works really well.
Listen, nowhere does it say that I cannot reuse people.
You actually have the book of rules, the rule book, as it were. And so, if you haven't found that rule, then I don't think it even applies.
It doesn't.
Sean, who's your pick?
I went with a 21-year-old actress from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
She has a lot of face value, but she was in Salt. She was in that Tyler Perry action flick, Alex Cross.
Okay.
That we talked about during that episode.
Yeah.
She's in Blackish, and she's in Brownish. Her name is Yara Shahidi.
Yara Shahidi?
Yara Shahidi.
Very nice. Oh, there is a lot of face value there. All right, well, my actress is 22 now. She's in Discarded Things. She's in Impractical Jokers, the movie, and Outer Banks, the TV show. Her name is Madison Bailey. Hold on.
That shocked her.
I got mine mixed up. There we go. Madison Bailey.
Nice.
All right, now we go to the role of... Am I on the wrong thing? Where am I?
We're going to Wyatt.
I'm on the wrong fucking thing. Hold on.
Wrong page.
Wrong, Travis. Rosario Dawson. Tara Reid. All right, Alan Cumming. So that was the wrong actress. Let me do mine over. My actress is 20 now as well. She is going to be in the upcoming West Side Story. Also, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Her name is Rachel Ziegler.
Okay.
Rachel Ziegler is my pick.
Gotcha.
And now YouTube knows what my pick is for the next movie. All right, we got one more, guys, right? Wyatt?
Yes.
Wyatt Frame?
Yes.
He was framed! One of the funniest parts is the reveal that he's not British and he's an albino who went to high school with Parker Posey's character, and he's also like bald and doesn't have any teeth. And she's got fucked up shit as well, and it's a match made in heaven. So Alan Cumming, he's great. We talked about him in Titus, correct? And he was 34 at the time. And who is your pick, Chelsea, for Wyatt?
My actor was in Admission, Happiest Season, and you will know him from Schitt's Creek. I went with Dan Levy.
Dan Levy.
Nice.
He did a really good job hosting SNL this season.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Over to you, Sean.
I went a little older because as I was watching the film, I thought of an actor that would be perfect for this part. Kind of reversing it a bit. 40 years old. He was in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Moonrise Kingdom, The Darjeeling Limited,
Yes.
and Rushmore. I'm talking about Jason Schwartzman.
Jason
Yeah,
Schwartzman.
I thought of him too.
Wouldn't it be great doing a fake British accent the whole movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the part where I actually did screw up on my math. My pick for Wyatt Frame is 53 now. He was in Volcano, Fire on the Mountain, which I believe is a sequel to the well-known movie Volcano. He was also in The Triangle with Jason Priestley? No, who's the other one?
Luke Perry.
Luke Perry.
Oh.
And he's in Locusts, The Eighth Plague. His name is Dan Cortese. Dan Cortese.
You sure it's not Dan Cortez from MTV?
That's him, but it's spelled Cortese. Cortese. Why are my pictures not in the right order? This is messed up.
You mean as in MTV Rock and Jock Weekend?
That's him, yes.
That's Dan Cortez?
Yeah, that's him. But it's spelled Cortese.
Well, you don't have to show us the picture. We know what Dan Cortez looks like.
Your movie has everything.
All right, so
That's good.
final thoughts.
Cortez.
Final thoughts.
It's a lot of fun. It's a stupid movie, but as I said in my review, I think they missed some opportunities to have even more fun with it. The educational film that Parker Posey shows the investors should have been done in the style of Archie comics.
Oh, that's true.
That would have been a golden
great touch.
tie-in, but they missed it.
They did. All right, well, that will bring us into intermission. But not before we say, let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves some snacks. And so we're going to get into the second part of our feature segment, The Recast Continued.
Part 2.
And the first movie is one that we kind of regret watching.
Yeah.
It was a good idea, and at the time,
I mean, I just
Chelsea
picked
picked it because
reasons.
the name of the movie is Chelsea Walls, but it is about the Chelsea Hotel in New York, which back in the day was a mecca for the avant-garde artists of the time in the mid-60s up to probably the mid-70s. Names upon names. But by the time this movie comes around and the setting of it, it has become basically a squat slash
Fleabag.
apartment complex. It's not even a motel anymore. And so
It's directed by Ethan Hawke.
directed by Ethan Hawke, and I think we agreed in the sentiment that he was really self-pleasuring himself during the making of this film.
What bothered me about this movie, and I guess what we should say, is that it's a cast of several artist types, and each of them have their own stories that kind of interweave with one another. And when I read the description, I was like, oh, this sounds cool. But then when I watched it, I said, oh shit, this is based on a play.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it watches like a play, which
Yeah.
sometimes works in film,
It
but
didn't
sometimes
work in
it
this
doesn't.
one.
No.
But what bothered me the absolute most about this movie is that the portrayal of these artists is exactly what people hate about artists.
It's very pretentious.
Not only pretentious, but so self-absorbed
Pseudo-bohemian.
and just what these stories that they're telling may mean something to them, but to the outsider, inconsequential. And I found myself super annoyed with this because I was like, that's what people think about artists who are not in art circles.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because
the
that's not...
majority of the dialogue in the movie is people talking to themselves or their therapist.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because that's not generally the case of artists that I personally know.
Well, that being said, this comes from the perspective that you and I have both worked in visual art as a trade. And we're not like those people in this movie. Just listen to our back episodes.
I hope we're not. I mean, if I am, good God.
Yeah, somebody just tug me on my flannel and make sure that my hemp necklace isn't askew. And all right, so the synopsis from IMDb: Grace, played by Uma Thurman; Audrey, played by Rosario Dawson; Frank, played by Vincent D'Onofrio; Bud, played by Chris Christopherson; Greta, who's played by Tuesday Weld; and Ross, played by Steve Zahn, are all new residents in the historic Chelsea Hotel, a former haven for budding New York City artists. These new hotel residents, young and full of expectations, mingle with the old hotel ghosts and guests, ultimately becoming interchangeable. They form a community linked by their dreams. I would say more of like a waking nightmare. I found it depressing. I found the movie itself depressing, and I don't recommend it.
No, absolutely not.
The roles that we're going to recast are Grace, played by Uma Thurman, Audrey, played by Rosario Dawson, Frank, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, and Bud, played by Chris Christopherson, and then finally Ross, played by Steve Zahn. Now, Uma Thurman is a character who is kind of, what's the word, almost agoraphobic. She won't leave her apartment, even though she's in a long-distance relationship with a dude who's kind of verbally abusive to her. She's also being courted by like all the dudes in the Chelsea. Chris Christopherson, the young suave black kid Wall who wants to be a Pinkerton.
Yeah.
Then we've got Rosario Dawson, who is married to a dude who looks too young to be married to her, who keeps getting involved in like drug dealing and organized crime and leaving for long periods of time without telling her or telling her when he's coming back. And the actor who plays his friend, the bad influence friend, I looked him up last night, and he's a well-known actor. He's been in a ton of stuff. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
He kind of resembles John Leguizamo.
I've already written much of this out of my mind.
I got you.
Same.
All right, so next up we've got Frank, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, who's a visual artist who lives in a flat there but doesn't pay rent. He pays his rent by painting paintings that go up in the hotel, which wouldn't work. Then we've got Bud, played by Chris Christopherson, who's a Hemingway type.
I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah, and he's doing his best Sam Elliott voice. Then finally we have Ross, who is played by Steve Zahn, who is the friend of somebody who we're not recasting, Robert Sean Leonard, who I think was the most projected part of Ethan Hawke's ego.
I think you're right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the douchebag guitar playing,
Right.
self-absorbed musician.
But Steve Zahn is his friend, who also is a musician, but he's overlooked because Robert Sean Leonard is so self-absorbed, playing Ross. And are we good?
Yeah, let's rip
Yeah.
the Band-Aid off this thing.
All right. So first up, we've got Grace, played by Uma Thurman. And who did you pick for this, Chelsea?
My actress was in Suicide Squad, The Wolf of Wall Street, Birds of Prey, I, Tonya. I went with Margot Robbie.
Oh, nice. If you haven't seen I, Tonya, it's one of the best movies in her catalog.
Oh, absolutely.
Over to you, Sean.
That's funny. I shot what's his face that was also in the Atlanta Olympics bombing movie.
Oh.
I shopped him for one of these roles.
Oh, nice.
But I didn't do it anyway.
Three names. He's got 3 names.
Yeah. Anyway, Hauser.
Hauser.
Last name. I felt the
Paul
cast
Walter Hauser.
something like that. I felt the cast was way too white, in my
Okay.
opinion. And this isn't like a reverse casting or anything. But that, just for the first one, I didn't want a white chick. So I went with an actress who is 32 years old. She was in When They See Us, Pitch, Big Sky, and she was the girlfriend of one of the couples in the movie Game Night. Her name is Kylie Bunbury.
Kylie Bunbury. I like that movie, Game Night.
I did too. She's from Hamilton, Ontario, by the way.
Oh, I've been there.
Hamilton the musical?
No, the town.
The Ontario
Please
Run.
continue.
So my Grace is 30 now. She's in The Night Manager, Tenet, Guardians of the Galaxy. Her name is Elizabeth Debicki. Elizabeth Debicki.
I shopped her.
Mm-hmm.
I like her.
Next up, we've got Rosario Dawson's character, Audrey. Rosario was 22. And Chelsea, who did you pick for this?
My actress was in Spider-Man, The Greatest Showman, a little TV show called Euphoria. I went with Zendaya.
Ah, Zendaya. Nice. Sean,
Good stuff.
who's your pick?
This is the best pick, and if anybody should pick it, they're fools because I picked it first. She's 22 years old. She was in, she's been in segments of Creepshow. She was in Constantine. She was in Black Lightning. And she's been in Outer Banks. Her name is Madison Bailey.
You fucking asshole.
I'm not a fucking asshole. You're a fucking asshole.
I'm only an asshole because I accidentally revealed this pick, but I know for a fact you didn't switch yours because you have your printout. I also picked 22-year-old Madison Bailey. She's in Discarded Things, Impractical Jokers, the movie, and the TV show Outer Banks, which I will reiterate is kind of like a modern-day Goonies. All right, next up we've got Frank, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, right?
Yeah.
And Chelsea, who did you go for with this suffering artist?
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to like give him a hug, and I wanted him to be happier.
Mm-hmm.
And so my actor reflects that.
He's never happy in his movies.
No, but I just needed it to stop. So my actor's in Guardians of the Galaxy, the Lego movies, was in Parks and Rec. I went with Chris Pratt.
Okay.
I just needed
Right on,
some
right on.
happiness.
I thought visually that D'Onofrio's character really reflected kind of an artist type. I thought I believed him more than I believed anybody else
Yes.
in the movie.
Like a Pollock or a Picasso.
Yeah, just tortured.
Reclusive. Yes.
Well, with that in mind, that's kind of what I was thinking when I did my my recast. I'm with an actor who's 41 years old, and he's been in movies such as Alvin and the Chipmunks, 500 Days of Summer, Suburban Gothic, that everyone knows him from Criminal Minds. I went with Matthew Gray Gubler.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'd play a good tortured artist.
I like him. All right. Well, my pick is 41 now. He was in the TV show Vikings, also a movie called Raised by Wolves, and the not-so-great Warcraft, based on the WoW video game. His name is Travis Fimmel. Travis Fimmel.
You just wanted to say your name.
Oh yeah, he does have the same name as me. And
I'm not
these
mad about that.
We call
He's
that
like-
we call that keeping up with the Chelseas.
Yeah.
piercing blue eyes. And next up, we've got Chris Christopherson's character. He says,
Unfortunately, in this time, there's only 3 real men left, and we're all drunks.
Yep. That's his opening line.
I want to know who the other 2 real men are. Who is he talking
I
about?
don't-
Clint Eastwood?
I don't care.
Probably Sam Elliott.
I don't care.
All right, so he was 65 playing Bud. And Chelsea, who did you go for?
Sean, since you were mean to me, this one's for you. My actor was in Independence Day, Spaceballs. I went with your fucking favorite, Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman.
I like that. That's a good pick.
And I don't think he was mean to you. I think that sometimes you perceive people being mean when they're just joking around. Next, Sean, what do you got?
All right, so I went with an actor who is, geez, I didn't get the age. He's 66 years old. And,
All right. You don't know what the 66 is?
No.
Dude, it's just where you're kissing each other.
that's hilarious.
Upside down.
All right, this actor, he knows a thing or two about depravity. He was in the film Slither. He was in Mallrats. He was in The Walking Dead.
Uh-huh.
And he was in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh.
With Michael Rooker.
Michael fucking Rooker, dude. He was also in Cliffhanger.
And Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that too.
I didn't want to give that one away.
The first time I recognized him, like, as a threat was in the movie Cliffhanger, the Sylvester Stallone vehicle.
Yeah, I know it well.
All right, my pick for the role of Bud, who was originally portrayed by Chris Christopherson at 65. This is my favorite pick of the night. He's 64 now. He was in the Brady Bunch movie, Talladega Nights, and Office Space. His name is Gary fucking Cole.
Harvey Birdman.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Not to be confused with Gary Coleman. All right. We got one more. It's the role of Ross, played by Steve Zahn. He was 32. And Chelsea, give it to us.
My actor was in the Divergent movies,
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic Four, the Spectacular Now. I went with Miles Teller.
Miles Teller's good. I went with a similarly themed actor, but not the same one. Sean?
I went with an actor who is, I went a little younger actually. I went with an actor who is 28 years old. He was in Descendants 2.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Haters Back Off.
Why did they make a sequel to that George Clooney movie?
This isn't the same thing. This is Mr. Hockey, the Gordie Howe story. What? What did I miss?
You got it. Go ahead. Gordie Howe, the hockey story. Hockey, the Gordie Howe story. You're listening.
I'm totally missed the joke.
Slap shot.
Nice. Anyway, he is Coach T on the new Mighty Ducks Game Changers TV series.
Oh, they did that?
Yes. But everyone knows him as Riley from Letterkenny. I went with Dylan Playfair.
Yeah. I need to watch more Letterkenny. I've been slack on that lately. All right, my Ross is 31 now. He was in The Giver, Pirates of the Caribbean, Gods of Egypt, and the best role, Blue Lagoon: The Awakening. His name is
Jesus.
Brenton Thwaites. Brenton Thwaites is an Australian actor.
Yes.
And he's going to pull off this pseudo-bohemian vibe.
I see it.
Can we just get a quick segment of Bohemian Like You? The Dandy Warhols? No?
Yeah, I know the song.
All right, so final thoughts on this movie.
Oh my God, no.
Skip it, even
No.
though it's named after Chelsea.
Sucks.
Don't watch it. All right, well, guess what, you guys? It's time for the final bonus segment, and I hope you're ready for it.
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I'm fucking ready.
All right, so it's going to be a battle royale between, of course, Rosario Dawson,
Mm-hmm.
Jack Dawson, and Dawson's Creek.
Dawson Leary.
Dawson Leary.
Rosario, this isn't even hard.
I'm disappointed that Richard Dawson is not up here.
Richard Dawkins?
No, Richard Dawson, the host of Family Feud,
Oh.
Yeah.
star of the Match Game,
He didn't make the cut.
Warlock.
You got eliminated.
Come on, Rosario Dawson.
You're going Rosario?
Fuck yeah, man, she rules.
And those two are fucking pussies.
Also, they're fictional characters, and she's a real person. So yeah, I'm going Rosario as well.
Clean sweep.
So I want to thank you, Chelsea, for being here, doing your research, making those picks. Anything you want to plug?
Not so much plug, but have a little shout out.
Okay.
So on Monday, my son Holden turns 10.
Ah,
So happy
the
birthday,
day
Dad.
after Mother's Day is your son's birthday?
Yeah,
That worked out pretty well.
it really did.
Nice. Shout out to Holden. He hates phonies. Sean, I want to thank you for everything that you do. Thanks for letting us do this on your property. And anything you want to plug?
I don't want to plug anything except for trivia.
Trivia was really awesome this week. You guys missed it. It was our Cinco de Mayo edition. And I hope that you are suffering from a...
Montezuma's Revenge.
No,
No.
you guys are suffering from fear of missing out.
FOMO?
FOMO, but it's in a retroactive thing, a retroactive FOMO.
I got it.
Do you know what next week's episode is?
SNL alumni movies.
This was an inspired pick. We haven't done anything like this.
No.
This is movies that are featuring the former cast members of Saturday Night Live. And so here is your sneak preview trivia question for this upcoming week's trivia. According to the internet, how many SNL cast members have died?
Shit.
Whoa.
And I'm not going to be able to list them all, but I've got a number.
Ooh.
You got the heavy hitters, obviously. You got your Farleys, you got your Belushis, you got your...
Radner.
Yeah.
64. That's my guess.
Ooh.
What? I'm gonna
1964?
say 18.
Okay. I've got 11.
11. Okay.
11 is the official count, but if you count Andy Kaufman, it's 12. He was on the very first episode of SNL. He was not a cast member.
No.
So it's 11.
Yeah.
11 people.
Wow.
We want to plug the podcast itself. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us on all of your podcatcher apps. We are online on Podbean. We're Cinema Chop Shop on there. We're at Cinema Chop Shop on Twitter, Cinema Chop Shop on Facebook, and cinemachopshop@gmail.com. Are we checking in these beers this week?
I think we've already had
We've had it before, so there might not be a beer check-in on Untapped, but you can go back and look at our previous check-ins. That's UNTAPPD, and we are Cinema Chop Shop on there. And we recorded this episode. Hey, Chop Shoppers! Will be on YouTube, hopefully, unless there's something real bad in it. We're Cinema Chop Shop Podcast on YouTube. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I say all the things?
You did.
Finally, farewell to you, the listeners. Thank you, Chop Shoppers. And we gotta keep wearing those masks, social distance, and get the vax. Also, would you please watch Chop Retrofits?